What's good, people? Next up in the queue is The Oil Card by James R. Norman, Global Economic Warfare in the 21st Century. If you really want to understand how the world works, especially today with some of the things that are going on, you need to read this book. It cuts through all the propaganda and the fake altruism, and you'll understand once you read this book that the world really runs on hydrocarbons or oil. Um, this book was a little difficult for me to read because it brought back a lot of memories because I lived through this era. It's a little bit dated, but I lived through this era and all the things that happened during, the early 2000s, the Iraq War, the war in Afghanistan, and this book doesn't get into it, but the stuff that happened in Syria and Libya and Yemen, and the stuff that's going on now as we speak. Um, he puts a lot of analysis and predictions in here, and some of them kind of sort of have come true, but some of them haven't really, especially when it comes to China. Um, his analysis on China is wrong. Fast forward to when this book was written, China got its stuff together, okay? If you don't believe me, well, just think about this. China has high-speed rail all over the place, modern buildings, clean streets. I'm sure they have their problems, but how many miles of high-speed rail do we have in the United States? To my knowledge, a big fat goose egg. Okay, so his analysis of China is wrong. But he backs it up. He made some really, he crunched the numbers and he put it out there. It just didn't pan out the way he thought it would. It's a little tongue-in-cheek sometimes. The author, James Norman, he kind of spouts the narrative that you'll find in the media, but at the same time, he cuts through it. All the stuff about human rights and democracy. He'll say something about human rights and democracy, and then he'll in another paragraph he'll go into how it's all BS. It's all about the money, the power. All right, and yeah, it really cuts through it all, and you'll say to yourself, we're not really liberating anything. We're liberating the oil. He's a smart guy, and he cuts through all the BS with facts and statistics, and he knows his business. This guy, if you read the back cover of the book, he'll let you know a little bit about him. He writes for like business magazines and stuff like that, and his specialty is the oil market. Okay, so he knows what he's talking about. This book is just a little bit dated. That's all. One of the things you really need to know about this book and what it really conveys in here really goes back to the book review I did on The Power Broker by Robert Moses. Now, the powerful and the rich, they don't need to own anything. All they need to do is control it. All right? That Learjet, those oil wells, those precious minerals, coal mines, railways, they don't have to own them as long as they can control them. That's what you really need to understand. You're not going to eat the rich because on paper the rich don't own anything. It's all in a trust or a corporation or some kind of, legal jargon. They don't own anything. They don't. But they control it. And that's the name of the game. It's control. When you read this book, you'll understand how things were perceived 20 years ago. Things haven't really as panned out like the way that the author thought it would. But some of the stuff he's going with is spot on. It's just really spot on. And he really cuts to the narrative when it comes to hydrocarbons. Okay, hydrogen and carbon. One of the most plentiful resources in this universe. All right? It's not fossil fuels. That's false scarcity. All right, all the stuff about green energy and your carbon footprint. That's fairy tales, people. All right, fairy tales. This is false scarcity. A really good book that gets into this. It's nonfiction. It's it's called State of Fear by Michael Crichton, and I think I'm going to do a book review on that coming up. I read that book. It was really good, and it's all about creating a state of fear and about controlling your mindset and getting you, the little guy, to act like a muppet. Just to go along because everybody else is doing the same thing. One of the best insights in this book, if you're a historian or you're a history buff, is about the fall of the Soviet Union. You got to read this book. It goes into detail. People talk about, oh, it was communism, what doesn't work right. Well, the Soviet Union made a lot of money selling oil. Read the book. You'll see the real reason that the Soviet Union fell. Right here. They weren't getting money. They weren't getting paid. How can you pay all your workers and laborers and bureaucrats and party officials if you don't have any money? You don't. And they went home. It's like, oh, well, song and dance is over, people. Interesting times I lived through. Interesting times. and you'll really understand how the world functions as we speak right now, as I speak. We're having another oil war. The stuff that's happening in Venezuela and Russia and Iran, it's not about democracy or, removing a theocratic leader or, stopping Putin or we're removing this evil dictator. The United States doesn't care. We back up Saudi Arabia. If you steal something in Saudi Arabia, they'll cut off your hand. So don't tell me any of this nonsense about human rights and we're, for the people, we're setting the people free. Nah, come on, no. The only form of government, really, in my mind, is oligarchy. It doesn't matter if it's a crown prince or a republic or a federal republic or, a constitutional monarchy or a socialist government or a communist government. It's all oligarchy. It's like, what can I tell you? You got to get this information. Now, you may think that I'm full of crap, that I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, a little bit of information about myself. I was trained about hydrocarbons in the U.S. Army Quartermaster School in Fort Lee, Virginia. So I worked in oil. I know about oil. I mean, I did it. Ran fuel farms in Japan, set up fuel farms, refueled this, refueled that, $1 million jet aircraft. I did it. So you got to take my experience and take that into consideration. All right. The book is an easy book to read. It really is. It's an easy book. I mean, if you're like crunching numbers, it's even easier. But for the everyday person, you can just read this book. It's not a thick book. You can read it like in a day or two, maybe 3. Now, the author is part of the system, and you will find him kind of going along with the system a little bit. He reminds me of the guy that did the book. I did a video on it called The Lords of Easy Money, where he was propping up and like adulating Ben Bernanke like he was some kind of, deity come down from Mount Olympus. But he says in the closing chapters in this book, he's like, I'm not making a judgment call. I'm just putting this information out there for you. And I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm not making judgment calls. I'm just putting this information, I'm kicking some knowledge for you. For the viewers of this channel. Oh, if you liked and subscribed, thank you very much. Tell your friends about it. Oil Card by James R. Norman. It's a good book. It really is. You can get yourself a copy at the library. You can order the book and read it and have it in your own library. Speaking of which, liking and subscribing. If you like this video, this kind of material, like and subscribe, people. Send me an email if you've got a suggestion. That's in the description of the videos down below. Until next time, give peace a chance, people.